Hello, thank you very much for watching another Otome review from me, Tripstar, like a sea bunny slug VTuber person thing. Yeah, so this is a very light-hearted review. I really don't spoil anything, and I just talk about my feelings for the game. So this game is super, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's all ages, of course it's not, because it's like a teen otome game, but it's very light, so I don't think I need to give any warnings going into this, and I think that you'll enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. If you do like it, feel free to like the video. Yeah, that's what people say, right? And and comment, maybe, if comment who your favorite Katarina character is. Sorry, I always call it Katarina. Your Hamefura favorite character is down below after watching it. Enjoy! I'm going to talk about my next life as a villainess. All routes lead to doom, Pirates of the Disturbance, or its Japanese title, Otome game no Hamefura ga shika nai akuyaku reijo ni tensei shite shimatta. But it's commonly referred to as Hamefura in Japanese and by the fan community, like at large, like worldwide. And because wow, that is a mouthful of a title, and that is what I'm going to refer to it going forward, because it is a mouthful. Hamefura. It started as a light novel in 2015, and then it got an anime adaptation in 2020, and it rose to relative popularity, which led to the release of this game I'm talking about today, which is the Pirates of the Disturbance part, I guess, is the new part of the title. It was released in 2022 in Japan and had an English localization in November of 2023. If you are unfamiliar with the light novel and anime story, a very TLDR or too long didn't read version of the story is, if Katarina Claes is a young woman born into a family of nobility who regained memory of her past life as a high school student in, like, Japan by hitting her head on something small as a child. She realizes she has been reincarnated as a villainess in an otome game called Fortune Lover, and the person that she's been reincarnated into, Katarina Claes, was fated to meet her doom of exile, of death in every route of this otome game. But this new Katarina manages to evade these bad ends of hers and manages to get a friendship end at the end of her first school year at Magic Academy, and she plans to peacefully go on a spring break. This is until her adopted brother Keith and her are told by their parents to go on a luxury cruise during its maiden voyage. Turns out all of her friends are there too. But things are not going quite as swimmingly on the cruise, as they're attacked by pirates and held hostage. Things start to seem similar to Katarina as she begins to remember that this is the plot of the Fortune Lover fan disc, also known as a sequel in the Otome game world. So will Katarina be able to ensure a safe fate for herself and her friends? Only you can decide by clicking the options for her. So if you've read or watched Hamefura, you probably don't. I don't need to give you the pitch for this game. You probably already know what the series is about, and, like, why haven't you gotten this game yet? If you like this series, you'll definitely like it. I really don't need, like, if you're on the fence, just get it. You're gonna like it. And then come back and watch the rest of the video when you're done. So for the music, like, I have, like, a checklist of things I go through. I have bullet points to talk about. For music, I really don't have much to say. The music was fine, but actually, wait, hold on. The only thing I do have to say is, oh my god, I did not know Aoi Shota was a singer, because I have never really looked into it at all. Like, I just didn't know, but wow. What a powerful, feminine-leaning, androgynous-sounding voice for someone who, like, says they're a cis man, I guess. It was just really impressive voice. Like, holy crap. And they're like Jordo's voice actor, too, this guy character here. I was just like, whoa! It's called Baby Steady Go, if you want to look it up on, like, YouTube or something. It was just, like, I thought it was just some random, it was like a, like Maya Uchida, the voice of Katarina or something. I was like, oh, this is like a feminine voice. I didn't actually think it was Maya Uchida, but you know what I mean. Just like maybe one of the other female voice actors, but no, it's Aoi Shota. All right, cool. Now the art is the same as the anime, so if you're not a fan of that style, I suppose it could make or break it to you, because I know the style is slightly different in the light novel. But to be quite honest, I thought the art was fine. The CGs were all very cute, and there wasn't any like glaring problems with it. So it's not my favorite art style ever, because it is kind of like generic anime, but it's also not one I have a problem with. There weren't any perspective issues, because that's the thing that usually gets me. And so for that, it gets an A. Now, moving on, with the common route type of thing, so the story is overall beginner friendly, and by that I mean this game is perfectly okay to play if you haven't seen the anime, but it would help, as the game only explains so much about the characters' relationships with each other, but it does a pretty good job. Like, you're gonna know, like, everything you need to know about Katarina's relationship with each of the characters. Like, I really don't think that someone who when it goes into this would care as much about Maria, Mary, or Sophia all that much, because the game unfortunately doesn't really care about them. But as someone who has seen the anime, and I was honestly I don't know, really excited to see them, and I was a little bit sad to find out that, one, they don't really have their own route, and two, once you're in a love interest route, they aren't really there. That made me a little sad. So pluses and minuses, I guess. The game also has these like memory scenarios, side stories, that provide a lot of the missing context for people who didn't watch the anime or read the light novel, but it also provides additional context for like if you already know the story, as it gives you like a familiar scene, like from the books or anime, from the characters' perspective, like isn't Katarina, so like Jordo's situation, trying to give her a gift, but she wanted like plant seeds instead. Like, that's from his perspective. They're really short and sweet, but they add a lot to the story, and I think it will add a lot to just like your Katarina experience, Hamefura experience. In a lot of Otome games, there's like a recommended order also for the most part, but I really don't think it matters for the most part what order you play this character routes in. The only exception to this is I think it would behoove you to play Rosie's route, this guy, before you play Silva's route, just because it wraps this up the story nicer, in my opinion. But I mean, if you don't want to, it's fine. It's totally fine. You actually can't even play Rosie or Silva until you beat one of the other love interest routes first, but after that, I really just don't think it matters. Now, actually, I realized I didn't make a slide for Katarina, which is a shame because it's Katarina, but she's right here. The main character. So, in as few words as possible, and also to make this sound as Midwest as possible, Katarina's a hoot and a holler. Katarina really makes this isekai to another world type of like anime, super anime scenario. It's supposed to be villainous, but I'm just a normal girl trope, like of a game, like completely worth it. She's so determined to avoid her death, but she goes about it in the silliest way possible. She is like hashtag not like other girls, while in this world where she's like an aristocrat, but like what I really mean is that she likes to eat food. She likes gardening. She likes getting like her hands dirty with dirt because gardening, and so like in that sense everyone treats her like she's not like other girls, but she is very kind to everyone, so it's not like that. Katarina is not the most smart or the most powerful, but she is usually the most charismatic. She woos everyone around her simply by being herself, which is a silly little bean. She genuinely cares about her friends too, even though like she initially is just trying to like not get ordered to death or exile by them. She does make genuine connections with all these characters and really cares about them, and you can really see that now, which is like post first season of anime, and she's like good friends with everyone and wants the best for everyone, wants everyone to be safe. She's also very oblivious that the entire cast of characters is like in love with her, which I think helps in this sort of reverse harem game not being like icky. Like if she knew about it, I don't know if I would like her as much, but she's completely oblivious. She doesn't even think about that sort of thing until it's like shoved in front of her face. In short, I love her. She makes the game. She's also so convinced that like she doesn't really have magical powers, but she has like this tiny little thing she can do with her magical powers, and she's honestly constantly thinking about like, oh, if only I could use my limited magical powers to help the situation, even though everybody else in this game has super powerful magical powers. But it's kind of like she'll think of every scenario. Like she always wants to help. Like even if she can't think of anything, she's like, well, at least I could do this, even if it's like kind of useless. I don't know. She's cool. She's resourceful. I love her. I love her. So let's talk about Jordo. So Jordo is a prince from the kingdom Katarina lives in. It's called Sorcier, and is actually engaged to Katarina. Unlike in the original Fortune Lover, he has completely fallen for Katarina because she's quirky and cute, but he does maintain his tendencies to be a bit more conniving and manipulative, if not even a little possessive towards having Katarina all to himself. I'm not really a fan of possessive princely types, but if you do like that trope, Jordo is the guy for you. For real. His route really delivers on the type of storyline you would expect, and although it's a little boring compared to literally all of the other plots in any of the other routes, the romance will be satisfying for those who are rooting for Jordo. I gotta say though, I don't even think this is a spoiler, it's just a logical conclusion. Like, Jordo at the beginning of the game already has a leg up on all of the other love interests because he is already in love with her and he's already engaged to her. So now he just has to like convince her to love him too. But like, how is this going to work out for him when presumably the other love interests have a chance to woo Katarina in their own routes? Without giving anything away, I end up feeling kind of bad for the guy. I do feel bad for him. He was like in first place, and then he ends up in last. We have Alan. Alan is Jordo's younger twin brother. He had issues growing up, always being compared to his like quotation marks perfect older brother Jordo, but discovered a love and talent for music and is now like respected among his family for his musical prowess, and that's partially in thanks to Katarina's interference with like challenging him to contests as a child. I don't have a ton to say about Alan's route, actually. I found his route to be cute, especially with showing the love between the two side characters that we, like, get to meet along the way. But in doing so, I felt it kind of left Alan with, like, less of an opportunity for special moments with Katarina than the other love interests got. Regardless, the two are put in extremely cute situations to maybe try and, like, make up for the fact that Alan is not like given as much time. But if you are an Alan fan, like all the CGs that he gets are super great. You're gonna love him. And his tsundere antics did win me over by the end of his route. I mean, I always liked Alan, but I was like, where are you? I just wish he had gotten more, honestly. I really like him in the original story. Alas. And so, next I get to talk about Keith. Keith. Keith is Katarina's adopted non-biological brother. Keith is described as being super attractive, and he turns into a playboy in the original Fortune Lover. I think because he's like bullied or like ignored by Katarina. I don't totally remember. But anyway, because Katarina's entire family welcomes Keith with open arms, including Katarina, he is much more so a doting younger brother who always wants to hang around her. And as it's a reverse harem, I guess nothing stops them from falling in love or something. I don't know. I have memories of really enjoying Keith in the anime, but like I'm wondering if it's simply because I love Kakihara Tetsuya as a voice actor, because actually interacting with Keith in this visual novel setting really ended up souring my impression of him. Like, yes, Keith is very caring, and he really wants nothing but the best for Katarina, but there are so many times in this game where he comes off as an almond mom. Will almond mom even be a term in a few years? I'm using the term almond mom. One of Katarina's favorite things to do is try new foods. Like, she loves eating, and sometimes she goes overboard with it, and that's fine. But this has led Keith to be like, Katarina, don't eat so much, every time she takes like one bite of any type of food. Like, God forbid a woman eat Keith. Oh my god. Ugh. Complaints aside, I did find this route to be particularly romantic. You could really feel how much she cares about Katarina. If you're not someone who's icked out by adopted sibling romances, then I have no doubt Keith is your favorite and you will love his route. Unless you're like me and you wanted to stop nagging Katarina all the time because, like, lay off, dude. God, let her eat dinner. Oh my God. Nicole. Nicole is the son of the prime minister of Sorcier, the country they're from. He is known for his strikingly, blindingly handsome face to the point where women faint just by being near him. He is quiet and stoic, but he becomes friends with Katarina after he sees her hanging out with his sister Sophia, who she was bullied a lot as a child. I'll get to Sophia later. I was shocked by Nicole's route in a good way. I feel so neutral about Nicole when I think about the anime. Like, he's just a non-issue. He's just kind of there. I think he's fine. But wow, the aspect of the game where you get to see what the love interest is thinking really made me fall in love with Nicole. Like, his yearning is peak yearning in his route and the plot. And the plot, even though it's very different from the rest of the game, it really capitalizes on the yearning. It makes you feel the yearning. I'm going to say it again so strongly and it was the one route that I didn't want to put down. It was like, I gotta see his happy ending. Stat! I was really surprised. I was like, he loves her so much. Oh my God. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it at all because he's so quiet, but really getting to see his internal thoughts and his like the actions that he takes for Katarina, it really won me over. Next, we have the characters that were created for the visual novel. We have Rosie. Rosie is the first of the two love interests that were created for Hamefura visual novel, and I was a little hesitant going in as I thought that, well, most of the people picking up this game will have already like watched the anime or have read the light novels, so they already know what to expect from the majority of the love interests. They might not try fleshing out these new love interest stories too much, but wow, I was wrong. Rosie is from the country of Quid, and I haven't really said this yet, but all the main character ensemble on the cruise ship are supposed to be like improving relationships with this country of Quid, and the ship that they're on is Quid made, but that's important for plot purposes. I'm not really going to get into it because spoilers, but anyway, Rosie is an engineer on the cruise ship, and he is instantly drawn to Katarina. He immediately comes off as being a very kind-hearted, intelligent guy who is good at inventing things. And honestly, Rosie's route is so cute. Like, it's really cute. They had a lot of heavy lifting to go through to make a new love interest even have a chance with Katarina, as there's are already like 5 to 8 love interests pining for Katarina's love. But he comes in strong. He really comes in strong. His reasons for doing things, his relationship with Katarina, all of his actions, just in general, are great and really exemplify a kind character. They really give you a lot of backstory to make their relationship really believable. And even though I felt like this route was a bit longer than others, I think that it was necessary to really give us the background information on what's really going on with this cruise ship and the pirates and whatnot, and also Rosie. So yeah, Rosie is great. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. I think it was really good, actually. Last but not least at all is Silva. Silva is the captain of the Weiss pirates that take over the cruise ship at the beginning of the game. He is the reason there's a rumor going around of a spooky being known as the Demon of the Fog. Because, ooh, so mysterious. Silva really comes across as the final boss in the game, to the point that Katarina literally herself thinks, he seems like he would be a secret love interest several times in other routes. So I really wasn't sure what they were going to do to tie Silva into the rest of the story in terms of like being a love interest to Katarina, but they really pulled it off. It was a slow build romance while the Katarina and Silva were just having really fun interactions with each other. There was this moment right at the beginning of the route where I thought, oh wow, she really likes him already. She just doesn't realize it. And it was really fun to see. Like, I can't remember thinking that in a visual novel in a long time, and I think it's because like they're expected to fall for each other like in a romance novel, but I think because like Silva kind of comes out of left field, it was like, I don't know, it hit different. Honestly, I really loved how confident Silva was even when he was showing his more vulnerable side, and I had a great time with his route. It really wraps everything up for the story, even if the route's villain was really weird. and forgettable, honestly. It's like they didn't matter, kind of. Even the ending had a different, like, oh wow, they really like each other type of like romance scenario thing. I just thought it was really cute. I was pretty impressed with the writing of it, actually. And yeah, it was great. Love it. So I really want to talk about the girls. My main complaint about this game, and really my only complaint about this game, is the lack of a route for Mary, Maria, or Sophia. I think Maria at least should have gotten one. I mean, for real? Goodness. It is just so very obvious that Mary as well is in love with Katarina, like throughout the game, even this visual novel too. Like, please give me the romance. Especially because you can see it so strongly in the anime, in the light novel too. The girls do get a bit of a feature in this game's common route ending. Like there's a common route ending route that you can do that just like each girl gets their own little scene, but it wasn't enough. These three girls all have pretty strong personalities, and they got sidelined so hard because like in the individual love interest routes, and I get it, it makes sense, but there's still a strong presence of the other male love interests in the individual character routes. So I don't know, it's Sai, it is Lasai. Although this was a disappointment, I can't complain too much because I still had a good time with the game. So in conclusion, this is a very lighthearted Otome game. The bad ends are more silly than devastating. It is a stark contrast from the previous Otome game I completed, Virtua Evermore, and it was genuinely the palate cleanser that I needed. Although this game was absolutely created with the intention of fans of the series to play, I really, really think anyone can play it. It's also a game I would feel comfortable handing over to a younger teenager, as it doesn't have any spicier or really any dark themes more of the adult visual novels have. It's also really funny. Katarina is seriously so silly, and like I said before, she really makes the game. If anyone else had been the main character, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been a more generic and boring, probably. Yeah, I highly recommend this game to anyone who really likes romantic comedy style games. If you just want a fun time that won't take you too long to complete, since I beat this game in like 50 hours ish, which sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot for a visual novel. Pick it up. I do have one more thing to talk about. My favorite route, hands down, is Nicole's route, because I was taken aback like with how well it was written, and I enjoyed it a lot, and it turned Nicole into a character I didn't care about to one that I love now. But my favorite love interest has got to be Silva. I just loved the blooming romance between him and Katarina. It felt so like natural and normal, because they don't like, neither of them fit into like their prescribed roles and blah blah blah. I don't know, the blooming romance and all the action, it was just so much fun. I really liked it. So yeah, that was my next life as a villainess, all routes lead to doom, Pirates of the Disturbance. Yeah, it was really fun. I can easily recommend it to anyone as their first Otome game. And that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you were on the fence about getting Hamefura, maybe it helped convince you to get it. I don't know. And if not, well, thanks for watching anyway. So I am playing, it's kind of difficult. I'm playing Tengoku Struggle right now, and I'm having a great time with it, but I am also playing Jakjean. I've been trying to get further in the game, since it came out, honestly, last year, but it's just a really big game, so I'm playing it in like chunks and then going to a different game, but then I played the entire game, and then blah, 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 blah. I also have completed a different Otome game, Sympathy Kiss, and that game surprised me, so look forward to that review sometime in the near future, hopefully sometime in August at the very latest. Again, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Bye!